Let's now settle for a very fair story on Business Life. The culture of an institution will define the type of work environment you will work in. That's the view of many human resource experts globally. As we mark International Workers' Day tomorrow, May 1, Joy Business Philip Namfuri has been interacting with President of the Institute of Human Resource Practitioners, Dr. Edward Kwapong, who shares his thoughts on the changing face of corporate organizational culture and how we can adopt to embrace diversity.
Right. So tomorrow is International Workers' Day, tomorrow being the 1st of May, and all over the world we'll be celebrating the hard work of the worker or workers. Right here in Ghana, we want to speak to Dr. Edward Kwapong. He's the president of the Institute of Human Resource Practitioners on a number of issues pertaining to the workplace, particularly from the human resource angle. First, we want to explore the negatives of corporate culture and how we can surmount these things. For example, if someone has been a very long-serving member of an institution and seems entitled to things more than you do, how does that affect your work? These are some negatives of the work environment, and we want to find solutions to them. And secondly, diversity. The world is changing, dynamic. How can we accommodate these things? So I need to speak to Dr. Edward Kwapong. He is the president of the Institute of Human Resource Practitioners. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us on Joy Business.
Thank you to Joy Business. I'm very pleased to have you in my office this afternoon. Let me take this opportunity to wish all workers happy May Day. May the road always rise to meet them. May they have the wind always at their back as workers, and may they contribute to productivity in this country. For a productive country is always a prosperous country. So these are my initial comments for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Doctor. So I'll jump straight into it. First one, negative corporate culture. We get to a work environment and it's not supposed to be smooth, but sometimes certain things detract us from the path. For example, staff members who have been long serving think they're entitled, want to bully, and sometimes people are favored over others. How do we surmount such negative challenges in the corporate setting?
Culture is informed by the values, and I believe every organization or company has its own core values, and it's for management to ensure that these values are lived, not that people will rattle the values because they know them, but they are able to live according to that. It requires that then management will ensure that every employee falls in line with the values, and the values seek to ensure a very conducive work environment in terms of the ambience, the physical environment, the way we relate to each other, the way we are aligned to the corporate culture, the corporate vision, and work towards realization of that corporate vision. That should be there. I think what is missing is that we are unable to crack the whip as management, as leadership, and I think it behoves on HR to bring every line manager on board to understand this and to ensure that our culture is shaped by our core values, such that at the end of the day we are able to achieve what we intend achieving. So yes, I'm also aware of negative cultural practices, including what you mentioned, morning devotions. I'm a Christian, and I believe in the Christian faith, and I also believe that Christianity is a positive, or religion per se, is a positive force of life, and therefore we should encourage it. But then we should let people know that we don't share the same faith across the company in terms of workers, and therefore if you want to do morning devotion, why don't you do it at home? Why take company time that should be used for productivity, to worship God at the workplace, and the noise that comes with it, the excitement, and at times for hours we are engaged in morning devotion. I don't think that is the best. Worshipping God is a personal thing between you and your maker, and therefore you shouldn't spread it across every member of the organization. We have our own differences regarding religion. You also mentioned the fact that long-serving employees tend to think that they are entitled to certain benefits as of right, and therefore, whether they merit it or not, they want to have it. Yes, it's common, particularly perhaps in the public sector. In the private sector, it's more of achieving the targets, and therefore you don't have that luxury of a system that as a matter of right, you are entitled to certain benefits. No. Benefits are given to you on the basis of your contribution to the business, and therefore the performance management system should be said that hard-working employees, high flyers, are rewarded better than those who are below average.
Let's now hear from the Secretary General of the TUC, Dr. Yao Ban, who outlines tomorrow's May Day celebrations activities as he speaks with my colleague, George Riafi.
In the May Day celebration, this is the biggest calendar on the labor front in terms of recognizing what workers have done and their contribution to the economy. We're today privileged enough to have with us the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress, Dr. Yao Ban. Doc, thank you so much for welcoming us to your office. And how are things shaping up for the May Day celebration? I'm a worker. I'm excited. Are you equally excited about this day?
Yeah, everything is going well. We are hoping tomorrow every worker will join in. There will be procession for Accra. There will be procession from Obrasport of Circle, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and we walk to Black Star Square, where the president will address the parade. In the regions, similar processions will take place. So I urge all workers to join in wherever you are, and I wish all workers a very, very happy May Day.
Is there anything going to be different about today's celebration in terms of May Day? Being
yes, it's a bit different. You know, in the last 5 years or so, we have always gathered at a spot, and then we do the marching there and show our placards to whoever is there, whether the president or the vice or the regional minister. This time we are starting from one end to another. So in Accra we are starting from Obrasport, and we are ending at the Black Star Square, where we have invited the president to meet us to address us. So that's a bit different compared to the previous years. The idea is to get as many Ghanaians as possible to join the procession. So whether you are in the informal economy, whether you are in the formal economy, all workers of Ghana are invited.
Doc, one would ask that, has anything influenced this change in approach in terms of marking this day? Or it's just about...
Just to get as many people. We don't want to do it as if it's an exclusive thing for workers in the union or for workers in the formal economy. We want to open it up for everybody in Ghana, all workers, whether you are doing your own job or whether you are working for someone, you are invited. You don't need to have any invitation. I'm giving you the invitation right here. Join in wherever you are, because in all the regions there will be similar processions from one point to another, where the regional ministers will also address the parades.
How are things going to pan out in terms of even the programming, I suppose? Is it going to be so George will come and march, I mean my union will come and march and all the rest, and then the normal speeches and the awards? We are done.
The marching will occur in the city or in the cities, as the case may be. So in Accra, the marching will take place from Obrasport to Black Star Square. That is where the marching. So we show all our placards, and then once we get to the Black Star Square, then we are ready for the president to address us. I will lead, I'll address the parade, and then the president will follow up. And then after that, the unions have nominated some of their outstanding members for national awards. Those awards will be given by the president there. So basically that's it. After that, there will be a reception where the president is invited, and since he became president, he has always joined us for the reception. At the reception, some awardees will also receive the award. So because of the way it's hot, sometimes we try to make it as short as possible. But when we get to the reception area, the activities that the remaining activities are carried out there as well.
And that was the Secretary General of the TUC, Dr. Anthony Yao Ban, outlining some of the activities for tomorrow's May Day celebrations. Away from May Day, the introduction of financial services platforms as a solution to enhancing the country's financial inclusion agenda has begun experiencing a threat from high non-performing loans. Financial House, AFB Loans, in its 2018 financial year recorded 51 million cedis as bad loans, while majority coming from the informal sector and little or no sustainable forms of income. Ebenezer Sabuti has more in the following report.
AFB Ghana's quick loan solution showed impressive growth during 2018, reaching 1.8 million customers by end of a year. The company also witnessed a 349% growth in deposits from both individual and corporate customers. The company recorded a 17% profit after tax for the year, as well as adding about 1.8 million customers to its quick loan services. However, the rate of non-performing loans looks like a challenge for the company's innovative product on the mobile money platform. Chief Executive of AFB, Arnold Parker, in an interview with Joy Business, disclosed the company is taking steps to recover the funds.
Normal in the course of doing financial services, but what matters is how you contain it and how also what you do to recover. And 2018 we still were very profitable as a business, and we would continue to put in the necessary measures to make sure that the NPL numbers come down. Well, so most I mean the biggest portion of our defaults are coming from informal sector workers, people who would possibly have temporary jobs, but they still manage to get a loan, and then usually when there are no jobs, they are unable to repay. So that's where most of the defaults are coming from. But for salaried workers, for schools, usually the repayments are always on time and on point. Yeah.
He spoke after the company took its turn to address some shareholders, fund managers and the media at the Facts Behind the Figures series in Accra. Arnold Parker hinted that the company has contributed significantly to the Credit Reference Bureau in the country.
We have contributed close to 11 million loan records to the credit bureaus, and what that has done is that we've brought a lot more Ghanaians into the limelight for us to be able to understand what their creditworthiness is. Because if the credit bureaus is supposed to get loan records and a lot of institutions are not giving loans to individuals, that means that we wouldn't know how creditworthy people are. So through our process, we are now enabling a lot of people to be known and properly assessed by financial institutions.
AFB Ghana is a licensed financial services providing credits to individuals across public and private sectors, as well as supporting micro and small-scale entrepreneurs. Ebenezer Sabute's report for Joy Business.
The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has developed a prosecution policy document which will assist it to effectively prosecute tax offenders. This will help raise revenue generated through taxation. Last year, the authority was unable to meet its target, attributing the shortfall to high tax default rates. Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Emmanuel Kofinti, has been speaking at the launch of the policy in Kumasi.
One important tool made available by the various laws to elicit compliance is the prosecution of tax offences. We, however, believe that the powers to prosecute must be guided by a documented policy made known to the public to ensure consistency in application, hence the development of this policy. Madam Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, this prosecution policy document clearly sets out the background, aim, purpose, principles and factors underlying the policy, the procedures and the roles of the various units charged with the execution of this document. It will be recalled that in our interactions with players from the various sectors of the economy, as part of the implementation of Project GREAT last year, I made it clear that the era of business as usual at GRA is gone forever, and that going forward, GRA is going to bite hard. I therefore wish to reiterate that GRA will henceforth use prosecution as a significant tool to ensure that the public honors is part of the social contract. This is because GRA's intention is to increase the use of prosecutions as one of its weapons in the fight against non-compliance, tax evasion, tax and customs fraud.
Mr. Emmanuel Kofinti says the policy document will be made public to enhance public understanding.
The general public, especially income-earning persons, to be well acquainted with the obligations under the tax laws, and the prosecution policy document will be well guided to prevent any infractions. GRA wishes to see a more tax-compliant society. As always, the authority is open to assist the public to gain a better understanding of the tax laws. The aim of this policy is to define clearly There are circumstances where prosecution against tax and custom offenders will be considered and to provide a common understanding of the rules by the staff of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Due to the paramount importance of public interest, the policy will be made available to all interested members of the public, particularly taxpayers.
Now, the General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAU, Edward Karewe, has criticized the International Monetary Fund's request from Ghana to reduce its producer price of cocoa to reflect current global trends. Cocoa Board has kicked against the call by the IMF, saying it would be detrimental to the sustenance of the country's cocoa industry. He spoke earlier on the marketplace.
I see the advice by the IMF not to be in context with our the realities on the ground. You know, you just look at economics are for people. Without people, there's no need for economics. I don't know whether the IMF has considered what will be the consequences for the cocoa industry if government or Cocoa Board decides to reduce the producer price now. Here is a country where there's so much competition for land, and cocoa industry has suffered just in the recent past, when some farmers had to even sell their farms out for galamsey. Now there is rubber plantations also coming up, and they are being induced to even cut down their cocoa trees and use those same lands for rubber, and so on and so forth. So, you know, if you reduce cocoa prices now, what you are going to do is that you will drive these farmers to use their lands for other tree crops or other purposes instead of cocoa. You know, when there's a problem, I'm talking about the prescription that IMF is giving. I'm not saying that there's no problem, but I'm saying that the prescription that IMF is giving is inappropriate, because the consequences that we will pay will be forever, and IMF will not be there to save us. And in actual fact, and I'm saying that is the realities on the ground. Unless IMF can come and tell us that if we reduce the cocoa prices now, farmers will not revert to or move to other crop areas like rubber and so on, or they will sell their lands out for gold mining and so on. So I'm not saying that what IMF is saying there's no actual problem, but their recommendation, their solution for this problem is normally problematic. Yeah. So they should. That's what I'm saying. That their solution is not in context. It does not take into account the realities on the ground. That's why sometimes we think that the IMF recommendations and solutions are general, and then they are like what?
The UK government has highlighted strong partnership and transparency to ensure trade between the two countries benefits all. The UK Department for International Trade noted this as the UK Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt leads more than 20 businesses from the UK to explore opportunities in Ghana. Deputy Trade Commissioner for Africa Martin Kent has been speaking to my colleague George Riafe.
UK firms working with Ghanaian firms, working together for their joint prosperity. The actual trade relationship with Ghana is one where it's particularly equitable. There's about £1.2 billion of trade between the UK and Ghana, and the difference between imports and exports is only around 12 million in the last stats, which shows that the relationship is particularly equitable, and we hope to build on that success, making sure that there's benefit for both the UK and Ghana.
How should the Ghanaian counterparts also position themselves to ensure that those shortcomings on their part is addressed, so that they can take advantage of the opportunities in the UK market in terms of this whole trade partnership?
Well, there really is no shortage of British firms willing to invest in Ghana, and what we appreciate in a Ghanaian partner is being very clear, open and honest with us, and working through the accounts and the detail of transactions with complete transparency and honesty. You know, doing business has to be in partnership and it has to be of benefit to both sides. So we hope that this very strong delegation is going to meet a wide range of Ghanaian businesses. Already this morning, the Foreign Secretary's business delegation have met with a wide range of Ghanaian businesses. They're forging new partnerships, they're making new introductions, and that will be helping the British-Ghanaian trade relationship to move from strength to strength. And that relationship moving from strength to strength, it absolutely chimes with the Ghanaian government's programme moving from aid to trade, and we're absolutely behind that. So I think all countries around the world look at the time it takes to process things like setting up a business and to work through administration. The faster those business processes are, the better it is for both sides. However, there are no significant issues holding things up at the moment. So I think it would be wrong for me to say there's certain things that could open up to unlock investment, because across different industries it's slightly different, across different sectors. However, we see time and time again British businesses successfully entering into business partnerships with Ghanaian businesses, and it's a formula that absolutely works. There's a real affinity between British people and the Ghanaian people based on a long and shared heritage and history, and that partnership that we have as friends and allies absolutely is reflected in our partnership as business partners, and it's with that spirit and ethos that we move forward to the commercial success of both Ghana and the UK.
Ghana beyond aid, are you that excited that it's going to open up a more opportunity for you to look at the business-to-business engagement, because then the partner country Ghana is no longer look at freebies, but how to do real business with UK counterparts?
I think that's a really great point. You know, there is an incredible wealth of talent amongst the Ghanaian population, and we really want to be working side by side with Ghanaians in business. And that happens most successfully when we're in business partnerships together, not necessarily when we're giving donations of aid. So that's why we find the Beyond Aid programme so exciting for British business, because we have so many.
And that will be it for Business Live tonight. Many thanks for your company, and as we celebrate the toils of workers tomorrow on May Day celebration, we've been posing this question on our Facebook poll, and we're asking the question: are your current conditions, working conditions, satisfactory? Now 21% are saying yes, they are satisfied with their current working conditions, while 79% says no, they are not current. They are not current with their conditions of service. And on that note, I say thank you very much for joining me, and of course on behalf of the crew, I wish all workers in Ghana and of course the world over a happy May Day. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good evening.